What is architecture? Architecture is the art and technique of designing and building as distinguished from the skills associated with construction. Architecture is defined as the art or science of building and the process of product in sketching, conceiving, planning, designing, and constructing buildings or other structures. Building first evolved out of the dynamics between needs of shelter, security, and worship. The exact origin of architecture can be placed back in the Neolithic period about 10,000 BC, as this is about when humans stopped living in caves. When they started handling the way they wanted their house to look and feel, as humans' culture developed. The building becomes a craft, and architecture is the name given to the most highly formalized and respected version of that craft. Did you know that the first architect in history was Imhotep? Imhotep was an Egyptian chancellor to the pharaoh Hoser who reigned in 2630 to 2611 BC. His contribution involved inventing the method of stone dressing building. The development of architecture is also growing tremendously in Malaysia. There are many buildings that have their own historical value that we should appreciate. Malaysia is a country rich in culture and history, and nowhere is this more evident than in its architecture. From traditional wooden houses to modern skyscrapers, the architecture of Malaysia tells the story of the nation's past and its journey to the present. In the early days of Malaysia's history, the architecture was heavily influenced by the different ethnic groups that settled in the region. The Malay people built wooden houses on stilts, known as Rumah Panjang, while the traditional architecture influenced by the Chinese throughout the country related to Chinese temples such as the Chen Hong Teng Temple built in 1646. Today, Malaysia's architecture is a blend of traditional and modern styles. The country's rapid economic development in the 20th century brought an influx of foreign architects who brought new ideas and techniques to the local building industry. These led to the constructing of iconic buildings such as the Petronas Twin Tower and the Kuala Lumpur City Centre. The architecture of Malaysia is heavily influenced by the country's history, culture, and geography. The tropical climate has had a significant impact on the designs of buildings, with most structures featuring large windows and open spaces to allow for natural ventilation. The influence of Islamic architecture can also be seen in many buildings, particularly in the use of geometric patterns and calligraphy. Skill and ingenuity of the architects and builders who have shaped the nation's built environment over the centuries. One of the most significant examples of Islamic architecture in Malaysia is the National Mosque or Masjid Negara in Kuala Lumpur. Designed by a team of local architects, the mosque features a modern interpretation of traditional Islamic designs with its large central dome and minarets. To learn more about the National Mosque, our team visited with Mr. Muhammad Noriman bin Kamaruddin, the National Mosque librarian. He was quite helpful and gave us a tour. The National Mosque was designed by architects Howard Ashley, Iqbal Hisham Al-Bakri, and Dato Baharuddin Abu Qasim. Dato Baharuddin has conducted research on mosques in India, Pakistan, Iran, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Spain. The main dome is adorned with thousands of green and blue tiles, giving a pleasant sky of turquoise. The dome has a roof shaped like a partly open umbrella, representing the 5 pillars of Islam and the 13 states of Malaysia. The main dome is complemented by 48 smaller green domes. However, the key feature is a tall minaret measuring 73 meters tall that stands grand and prominently against the skyline, adding a sparkle to the already beautiful view of Kuala Lumpur at night. The symbolism of the umbrella conveys the impression that the king defends the populace. As the design seems contemporary, the apposite Uthmaniyah architecture is still present, where it blends Islamic and contemporary motifs as is embellished with regional architecture. Did you know that the original site of this country's mosque was the site of a church? Masjid Negara was built to memorize Malaysia's independence and was suggested by the Federal Executive Council a month before the independence ceremony. Tunku Abdul Rahman played an important role in the construction of the National Mosque. Although the National Mosque looks like a Muslim house of worship, it actually symbolizes the country's unity and multicultural harmony. It was designed of Malay origin and built by Chinese and Indian with a donation from Muslim, Buddhists, Hindus, Christians, and many more. What makes Masjid Negara special is what even the technology and architecture have improved in the future. We can still see and feel the original architecture legacy of the past, since the architecture of the National Mosque is conserved by the Malaysian Heritage Agency under the National Heritage Act of 2005. Heritage legislation is vital so that the public, including local visitors and foreigners, may learn about the unique qualities of mosque architecture in this nation. And in 1965, Masjid Negara was crowned as the most advanced mosque in Asia. One of the most unique attractions here is the Makam Pahlawan, where many graves of former Prime Minister and politicians who have contributed a lot to the country. Today, besides being used as the praying place, the National Mosque is used for various academic activities that include official ceremonies, public lectures, seminars, training workshops, conferences, and so on. Besides, there are many outdoor exhibition areas that can be used for exhibitions around the National Mosque without interrupting the praying process. Plus, the mosque also provides sports facilities that can be used by its members to exercise. Another iconic example of traditional architecture in Malaysia is the Rumah Penghulu Abu Seman. This traditional Malay house is a fine example of the architectural style known as Rumah Gadang, and it was built in the 19th century by the local chief and community leader Penghulu Abu Seman. To learn more about the Rumah Penghulu Abu Seman, our team visited with Mrs. Shuhaida Abdul Rahman, the Rumah Penghulu Abu Seman's library. She was quite helpful and gave us a tour. Known as Rumah Penghulu Abu Seman, this century-old house used to be the residence of a local village headman from Kedah State and is one of the oldest surviving traditional Malay houses. It was built in the stage between 1910 and the early 1930s that was rescued, relocated, and restored between 1996 and 1997 by Badan Warisan Malaysia. After it fell on hard times in the 1990s, it was painstakingly disassembled and transported to Kuala Lumpur, where it was given a new lease on life within the grounds of Heritage Centre. This 100-year-old home was constructed using a variety of madang woods, chengal, durian, and red meranti, which became popular among Malays in the 1990s. Three parts of Rumah Penghulu Abu Seman are built in stages, which are Rumah Ibu Ruang Tamu, built in the 1910s by Tok Tai, who lived in Kampung Payatakong in Kedah. This house was later sold to Penghulu Abu Seman, who demolished it and rebuilt it in Sungai Kecil village in 1924. Rumah Tengah, built in 1920s. Balai was also added in 1930s. In the Rumah Ibu, carvings with floral motifs with high aesthetic values symbolize it as the main room. The carving also facilitates better ventilation for guest comfort. Rumah Tengah shows a geometric shape for more practical ventilation. Kolong is designed as a space for party preparations, storage, and for children's play. Tall poles give protection in the event of flooding, encourage greater ventilation, and keep wild animals out of dwelling. The main pillar called Tiang Seri, the most important part of the traditional Malay design. The Malays use it to make this pillar as a form of protection from evil spirits. Balai is the main entrance located in the third section. The steps in the hall are ornamented with a ceremonial gate. The first villagers will bow in front of the gate before entering the house as a symbol of respect to the host. The headman runs the business of villages and oversees administrative matters from his house in the veranda room. The porch was converted into a courtroom where the trials were held, with the headman's office occasionally serving as a detention facility for the accused. A veranda is an area that connects the interior and outside of a house and gives direct protection from sunlight and rain. This office has a private door to the center hall where the Penghulu and his family welcome guests. Rumah Ibu is equipped with a gate followed by steps to get inside. It is used as the main entrance to the house and commonly used for all family events as well as guest rooms. Several instruments and ceremonial items that are frequently utilized during a Malay bride traditional wedding ceremony are present in her mother's home. Along with the intricate carvings, the wind-cone windows in this location provide both aesthetic value and sun and rain protection. The main bedroom has a plain wooden bed, but the second bedroom is attractively designed to depict the bedroom of a Malay bride, which has a copper bed with 3 combs. To enter the Selang section, this is the space between Rumah Ibu and the middle house. The second entrance is located in the Selang section to make it easier for the woman to enter the house from a different place than the men who would normally gather in the Balai section. This alternative entrance minimizes any disruption while office business is being conducted at the Balai section. Rumah Tengah is a family room where women and children gather to eat and complete household chores together. The open ceiling that exposes the clay roof in this space facilitates ventilation and cool the entire space. It is very suitable because it is close to the kitchen. The middle house usually also contains a relaxation room where the residents of the house spend time having fun with the family and play traditional games such as congkak and batu seremban. From Rumah Tengah, we now move to the kitchen. Note the traditional kitchen utensils here, which is often used for food preparation such as mortar, coconut scale, and millstone. This is a primitive firewood burner made of clay and little banana sticks. The kitchen portion is constructed lower than the Rumah Ibu and the middle room to make it simple for the residents to go in and out of the house from the rear door to the outdoors, creating an easy access to the back area of the house. From its early origins to its modern-day developments, the architecture of Malaysia is a reflection of the country's rich cultural heritage. It is a testament to the creativity, skill, and ingenuity of the architects and builders who have shaped the nation's built environment over the centuries.